morning, as most of the time here. Lovely sunny morning, and we're getting closer to the cooler season, meaning the mornings are a lot more cool and much more nice. My morning coffee, a ritual that is going to come to an end very soon, because I'm beginning to have a problem, and I don't like it really. And I know it's very much a mental thing probably, but my blood pressure is just rising and rising and rising. I had when was that? I forgot it, but maybe 4 or 5 months ago, I was constantly in a normal area. But then, for some reason, I don't know what, I've been trying to analyze the data, my blood pressure just keeps going up and going up. Now, I am lucky if I can get it to the lower end of grade 1 when I wake up in the morning. And when I'm saying I'm lucky, it's because the first measurement I do is always high. But it's always been like that. It's a kind of a anxiety measuring, and it has to be low kind of thing. So my second measurement is always lower. But normally, if I do get a high one, I can bring it down to a normal one by taking a few deep breaths and relax, and I'm getting over the anxiety, and then it's there. Now, grade 1 all the time, lower end if I'm lucky, but it is grade 1. And it annoys me a lot because I've been looking at the data, and I have been looking at what I'm doing, and I'm doing everything right as far as I can see, but something is not really the way it should be. So today is the 30th of August. Tomorrow I head into town to do my normal fitness that I do on Saturdays, and I will enjoy my last coffee and cafe there, and then I'll run it until the next PSA text without drinking coffee. It's going to be a really difficult one, but it also aligns a little bit with something else that I'm doing right now, and that is, as I've mentioned, the Joe Dispenza meditations, which he's talking about how we're programmed, that 95% of all our thoughts during the day are the same thoughts as we had yesterday. And if we want to change the trajectory of our lives, we have to change that programming. And by changing that programming, he's talking about how the neurons are firing and wiring in our brains. And it's quite interesting because I've started the meditations, and when you're doing the meditations, the art is that when you're sitting there, that you have to focus, for example, on your breath, or you have to focus on your body. But very quickly, the brain starts wandering off to things you have to do, or things you have done, or things you are troubling you, or your mind just basically wander off constantly for something else. And as he says, the new programming is to change that, to be in charge of that. So basically it is a matter of, do you want to be a program, or do you want to be the program? And by that is, he just means that you make decisions in your life. You don't make the little devil on your shoulder make the decision for you. And when you start focusing on life as a matter of programming, it's actually a very, very interesting aspect. Because I think I've mentioned this before. When I did my ice plunging, it was merely a matter of health. And every time now and then the weather was bad, it was windy, it was chilling cold, it was overcast, and it was raining. And it was just not something that was particularly appealing than jumping into an ice bath. So very quickly I had myself convinced that since it is a matter of health, I can do so many other things, and there's no reason to overdo it, and it doesn't matter if I skip it one day, and all these things just comes in here. But as Joe Dispenza, he says, that's basically just your programming taking over. And if you don't jump into that ice bath, you are being the program. You're just living the program. You are not being the one in charge of your own life. And so now I've started these ice baths, and it's so much easier to get into that ice bath because now it's not a matter of health. Now it's not a matter of conquering anything. This is just a matter of, I've made the decision that I have to get into that bath, and unless I'm actually feeling unwell, then there are no excuses. The same moment I choose not to go into that one, I have succumbed to my programming. I have succumbed to that little one devil that likes the things the way they are. They like it comfortably. They would like it easy. They like it without pain and without strain. But if you want to change your life, you've got to change it up like that. So my coffee is probably the most consolidated programming I have since 1993, when I was moving to Zagreb, and I lived down there, and I had to find a place to do my business because the office I had was too crowded with people, and I ended up at a little soy on Tripala Jelačica in Zagreb, and I can't remember what the name of the soy is, but that was just the early days of coffee life. And they had a line of coffee bars there, and I remember sitting there for 4, 5, 6, or 8 hours a day doing my work on a laptop. And that kind of got my rolling on the cafe life, and I've been addicted to it ever since. And I know it's going to be a struggle, because every time I decide that it's time to save the money, it's time to save the time, because out here I have 17 kilometers to the closest coffee shop, but the better ones, they are 35 kilometers away. So I'm literally spending 1.5 hours driving total to get myself a cup of coffee, and then I'm spending $2 or $3 on it. Now, it's not particularly much, it's cheap, I know, but still it adds up when you do it every single day, not to forget that I also have to pay for the gasoline. So when I do my last coffee tomorrow, it's going to be exciting to see how that translates to. But when my blood pressure is up high, I have to cut out whatever it could be that keeps it up there. But I've been drinking coffee my whole life, so I'm actually quite sure that if it does impact anything, it is very minutely. But it does impact my wallet, and it does impact the time I have to do other things. So the past 1.5 months, my blood pressure has been elevated to a high normal. High normal is not something I'm particularly worried about, but the last week and a half, almost 2 weeks, I actually think, I have predominantly been in grade 1. And grade 1 has only happened if I have been focusing, because the first measurement has often been in grade 2. And that's troublesome. But I can't remember where I went the other day, or what I saw, or what I heard, but I heard music, and I realized that one of the things I enjoyed a lot when I was younger was going to discotheques. I love to go dancing. I love to have that rhythm in my body, and I don't do that. I've never done music in such. When I was had my own transport company and I was driving hours on end in my truck, I was never having anything on, no radio, no music, no nothing. So I do like the silence. I do like the time to contemplate. I do like to think, time not to be disturbed by anything, but just let the mind wander. But I also realized when I heard that music that it does something to me. It makes me exhilarated. It makes me happy. It makes me, it sends some positive vibes in my body. So I've been looking into that, and it just turns out that my watch, my Garmin Fitting 6, actually can play music, and it tethers up to my Sony headbuds wirelessly on Bluetooth. So that's something I've been looking into, so that now when I go running, for instance, it's not just running, it's also getting that little bit of music in my ears. But I'm also going to use it as a way to get some of the information that otherwise used to be taped to my computer to get, like for instance lessons in how to meditate and stuff like that. So that is going to change too. My last PSA was at 97.42 as far as I remember, and I have unfortunately the feeling that it's going to go even further up, and that maybe contribute to my blood pressure, because I'm getting a little bit anxious here, because I do not want to do ADT. So for 2 weeks, I think it is, I have not been on my RSO. I kind of felt like I needed a break, and that break just got longer than the 2 or 3 days that I decided. But just today I mixed up my my RSO again for suppositories, and I'm starting that again. I'm kind of hoping that it also takes away the headache I've had. I've had this not a headache that I needed a pill for, but I've had this faint headache for like a week and a half as well. And I think that it's because of the high blood pressure that has happened. I don't know for sure, but I don't like to medicate myself out of it, because if you take pills for headaches, you don't kill the headaches, you just kill the feeling of the headaches. So I don't really know if whatever I'm doing is actually working. And it's not something that is so unbearable I can't sleep. On a plus note, a very good friend of mine, John, he has helped me out now. So I will get a pound of modified citrus pectin coming in on the 10th next month. October? Is that October? No, September, sorry, I'm a bit fast here. The 10th of September, he's coming back to Thailand from the US, and he's bringing me a pound of modified citrus pectin. I will test that out right away. If it does seem to have a positive impact, then I'll order more, because I've got other friends coming in. Steve is coming in October, and I've got another friend coming in November. So I can do whatever I want there, but it's quite expensive, really. I think it's $110 for 1 pound of modified citrus pectin. They do give a bit of a bit of a discount, so that's okay. But still, I think I end up with $93 for a pound. Then he'll also be bringing in a brand of black seed oil, which is very, very strong. It has this Corakin, or I can't remember the name of it. Normally there are between almost nothing to 1% in the various black seed oils that you can buy. In many places they don't even write how much there's in it. Like the one I'm using right now, it doesn't say how much is in it, so I really don't know. But he's bringing a few months of treatment that has got, one has got 5% and the other one's got 20%, and it's capsules, so it's very easy to take. I do have an oil already which is at 2%. It is written on it. It is at least 2% of that ingredients, that is the active ingredients that we want. But it's so cumbersome that I have to add it to food and stuff like that. Plus it doesn't really taste very well, so I like the capsules more. He's also bringing in 250 grams of melatonin from Pure Bulk, so it's going to be very, very good. I'm going to get some solid things here, but now I'm already on black seed oil, although I don't know how much of the active ingredients there is in it. And I am already on melatonin, although I have lowered it from 580 milligrams a day to 320 milligrams, I think it is, because I'm running out, and he's back the 10th, and I'm definitely running out before he arrives. So I just want to prolong the time that I have it. There's no reason to run full on and then have a full break. I'd rather than do lower doses. So the fact that he brings in the black seed oil is going to make a change, because there's so much more active ingredients, but the melatonin, not so much. I will be mixing it up myself, and I will up the doses as well, because currently I've been using these 100 milligrams capsules and 60 milligram capsules and combining them to reach a certain level, and I'm dividing over 2 times a day. But when I'm doing it myself, I think I'll get about 400 milligrams in each capsules when I'm filling them up. So I'll probably be doing somewhere between 800 and 1200 milligrams a day. But 250 grams, that'll give me about 250 days, 220 days, so I'd have at least for half a year. So I'll run with that. So that's going to be a small change. Modified citrus pectin is said to have a positive impact on the PSA levels specifically. So I'm very much looking forward to that one. I had big trouble with that ordering. So luckily John, he ordered it for me, because it just wouldn't accept my Visa card for some reason. So yeah, that's the summary right now. The big problem is really my blood pressure, and I can see that because my Garmin shows in a graph how it works, and I can see it started out before I focused on it on a high normal, and then it dropped down to normal when I put an effort into it, and then for some reason it's just been slowly climbing, and now it just sits up at a level of grade 1, and that ain't good. It's not good at all. And here it is. I hated it that I can't go to my doctor and ask what it is, because he doesn't have the experience to look at what I do and analyze the numbers and analyze my diary to see what kind of supplements I have and what kind of diet I eat. He'll just say, oh yeah, you got a high blood pressure, if you can't bring it down, and you'd have to do it by diet and exercise, without telling me what that actually means. then he'll just prescribe some pills for me. But the reality is I run 70 to 100 kilometers a month, and my sleep pattern is rock solid. I always go to bed about 8:30, 9 p.m. and I wake up at 5:45 every morning. My stress levels are spot on. My HRV level are slightly dipping this week, but other than that, it still sits between 59 and 61, which is really good. So none of the things that my doctor would tell me to do would actually have any impact, because I'm already doing it, which is adding to my concern, really, because the cancer is actually progressing right now, and that's why my blood pressure is going up. So I'm definitely going to follow up with a bone scan when I come back from my next run at the end of next month. There was another topic I wanted to bring up. Well, I suppose that's going to be for another video then. That is status. I've got my lovely katoklok, as I said in Isan. It is a passion fruit. In Thai language, it is called savarot. Fantastic to just pick them out in your own garden, 3-4 fruits a day, and eat it up. I love them. And for some reason, the locals, they just don't like them, which also basically does mean I get all my fruits for myself. Not even my wife takes any of them. I mean, she might come by sometimes and just take a little taste, but I really, really love passion fruit. A lot. Yeah, that was today's update. As always, stay happy and healthy.